What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today we are talking about the OPI Wicked collection, which is technically their holiday 2024 set. So we've got 12 new nail polishes. They actually have little special edition caps that say Wicked on them. Now I have to be honest, I have actually never seen or read Wicked, so I might not understand the references here, but I am curious to see the movie that's coming out. And by the way, really quick, they also came out with an Infinite Shine collection for Wicked. Those are actually separate colors, so I am going to do a different review on those, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's dive into the swatches, then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on them, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Orly Bonder base coat. Starting off with Oh for Oz's Sake, this one is a white pearlized polish, so looking at it head on you can actually see a lot of really beautiful iridescent colors, but primarily I'm seeing a lot of green and blue, but at some angles I can see more of a pinky tone as well, and I just love shades like this. I think OPI does them really well. There's definitely a little bit of a brush strokiness to it, but that's just the nature of pearlized polishes like this. And I started off with 2 coats. I actually thought it looked really pretty that way, but if I want to get full coverage and really cover up that visible nail line in any areas that look a little bit lighter, I did need to do 3 coats for that, but I feel like it looks patchier on camera than it is in real life. In real life, it really just depends on where the light is hitting it, because that's where it looks the most opaque. Next up, we have the shade Ga-linda, and this one is a sheer pink that has really teeny tiny iridescent flakes running throughout, and I have to be honest, this one I wasn't totally sold on. In the first coat, I do actually like it as just a really soft nail brightener, because I do think that that pink shade does kind of lighten and soften the nail a little bit, and I do think it looks pretty. I also liked it in 2 coats, but at that point I did feel like it was starting to get a tiny bit patchy, so I thought it was going to even itself out in the 3rd coat, but personally I just didn't love the way that it looked in 3 coats. I felt like the more opaque it was, the more patchy it looked on my nails, so I wasn't a huge fan of that. I do love the idea behind it, but maybe it would suit best to wear it over a similar base color. I actually ended up trying it over a darker color because there was only a couple of creams of this collection and I wanted to see if they paired nicely together, and I did think that it was just a little bit too milky for that because it does create a sort of patchy look to it over this deeper color. But yeah, I am definitely curious to try this over a light pink. And then we've got another pink shimmer. This one is called Glinda the Good, and this one is a deeper color, and it also has these very slightly larger pink flakies that add a little bit of dimension, and I really love the way that those look when they hit the light. Personally, I love this color. It was a little bit sheer in the first coat, but it ended up giving me perfect coverage in the second, and it does have a little bit of that brush strokiness to it, but I feel like it's subtle enough that even if you aren't perfect with application, it still applies really smoothly and nicely. I used to not think of this color as a holiday type of shade, but the more I see it in nail polish collections, the more I associate it with the holidays, so this feels like a perfect classic holiday shade to me now. And then we've got the shade Nessa-ist Rose, and this one is a beautiful deep winter cherry red cream shade. It is so opaque. It pretty much gave me full coverage in the first coat, but I did end up doing a second, and I think that this is just perfection. If you have watched my nail polish organization videos, especially my most recent one, you know that I can never get enough OPI reds, and I am just happy to add this one to my collection because it's another amazing one. I love that deep wintry color. I think it's so perfect, and it just feels really classic to me. Moving on, we have the shade Let's Rejoicify, and this one is a really beautiful warm toned purple, almost like a grape kind of color, and it has this really stunning flaky shimmer running throughout. At first glance I actually thought it was hollow, but looking at it a little bit closer, it's actually a multicolored shimmer in there. So I can see a lot of gold, I can see a little bit of blue and red, and it combines so beautifully. I have not seen a color like this from a mainstream brand, and I think that this is absolutely stunning. I would love a full collection of colors like this. It feels so perfect for the holidays to me, but I feel like this is also a shade I can really make work for multiple seasons, especially for autumn. I feel like it's just so perfect for that, especially with that warm purple. Then we've got the shade Fiyero's My Manny, and this one is a rich royal blue jelly polish. So I will say I actually loved the formula of this. It gave me perfect coverage in 2 coats. It wasn't patchy at all, but you could very slightly see my visible nail line. I think this is going to be so perfect for nail art. I love how vibrant that color is, even though it's very deep. But I will say I do think it's an unusual pick for a winter collection, because to me this kind of feels like a summery color, but maybe that's just because I'm still fresh off the heels of warmer weather, because I do think that this could work really well for a snowflake jelly sandwich kind of manicure, so maybe that'll change my mind once I try that out. And then we've got the shade I'm the Wonderfullest, and this one is what I would definitely call an icy blue. And again, we actually have that same shimmery flaky going on as we did in that warm purple shade. So at first glance it does look hollow, but when you look at it up close you can actually see a whole rainbow of colors going on in there, and it just adds so much dimension. It's so beautiful. I am so glad that they introduced this type of formula, because I think it's absolutely perfect, and this feels just so frosty and fun and wintry to me. Moving on, we have the shade Deflying Gravity, and this one is an absolutely stunning blackened green shade that is packed with a silvery flaky shimmer. And I will say on camera this mostly does look black, but I feel like you can just see a little touch of green to it in real life. And this is another one that the formula and the color just stunned me. I think it is so beautiful. It almost has a little bit of like an indie style to me. So very pleased to see it from a mainstream brand. And again, I just think the formula was great. Next up, we have the shade Ozitively Elphaba. And this one was actually my favorite of the collection. And you'll see why as I apply this first coat, because first of all, it was full coverage in the first coat. Absolutely incredible formula. But second, it's just an amazing color. It's just this really beautiful metallic rich green, and it looks almost blackened around the edges, but when the light hits it, it becomes this beautiful lime color. It has just the perfect amount of brush strokiness to it, but it feels so perfect for the holidays. It feels like a perfect fall color. It feels like a great Halloween kind of color. I just feel like this is an any time of year green, and I cannot get enough of it. And then we have the shade Witch O'Clock, which is a more yellow toned green cream shade, and this one was actually really opaque as well. It pretty much gave me full coverage in the first coat, but I did end up needing a second coat. But I will say I had an interesting problem with this one. I did shake it up before application, but I noticed that the pigment was separating a little bit. I actually did my first swatch of it, and then I noticed that the pigment was super separated, so I shook it up and tried again, and I still got a lot of pigment separation. So I might have gotten a bad bottle, but I just wanted to let you know that that was going on with mine. And then we have the shade Oz-mazing, and this one is a very pale yellow frosty shimmer type of polish that has slightly larger flakes in there that are more golden. And this one is kind of the golden yellow version of the light pink that I showed you in the beginning. And I have to say, this one did not really speak to me either. Even though this one was more opaque and less patchy, I just felt like color didn't really work. There's something a little bit old-fashioned about it to me that I don't really love. For whatever reason, it honestly reminds me of Beauty and the Beast, even though I've never seen Beauty and the Beast. But colors like this always put me off. Maybe it's just because they don't suit my skin tone, but there's just something a little bit lumpy about them that I don't love. But just out of curiosity, I also wanted to try it as a topper. I ended up trying it over the green just because, again, I wanted to see if I could pair it with colors from this collection, and I do think it was a little bit too milky to work for that. So again, I would probably pair it over a very similar base color, like a very pale yellow. And then last but not least, we have the shade Love You So Munchkin, which is another yellow, but this is a type of yellow that I really love. It has a little bit of a golden yellow coloring to it, and this one is definitely a lot more opaque. It's a lot more vibrant and saturated, and again, we do have those golden flakes running throughout that give it a little bit bit more of a multifaceted look. And honestly, looking at this one, now that I think about at least what I know of Beauty and the Beast, I'm pretty sure that Belle wears a dress that's this color and not the other color. So I don't know why I associate the other color, or maybe I'm wrong. I'm not actually 100% sure, but this is definitely a beautiful color to me. And this also screams winter holiday vibes. It just feels so vibrant and perfect for literally all of the winter holidays. I feel like it's perfect for Christmas, perfect for Hanukkah, perfect for New Year's. It just has that sort of warmth and like flame brightness to it. I don't know. I really like it. So here are all the polishes together, and I have to say I am pretty pleasantly surprised with this. I will admit, when I first got the collection and saw them individually, I just felt like a lot of the shades seemed pretty basic. Like it just felt like we had so many basic variations of colors. Like, okay, we have some pinks, we have like a basic red, a basic blue, we have a couple of basic greens. But once I applied them, I feel like I was able to appreciate them a lot more. And I think that the formulas actually ended up being a lot more interesting and diverse than I expected from seeing them in the bottle. I was especially impressed with those multicolored shimmers, but I think overall just the opacity was really great on these. The colors feel very perfect for the winter holidays, but I feel like I can make a lot of these work for other seasons as well. And overall, I just think they did a very good job creating this collection. So let's talk about it a little bit more. So yeah, those are the polishes, and overall I enjoyed these. I think OPI is just a very dependable formula. They make good quality polishes. Their shimmers always impress me. There were a couple of colors that I wasn't a huge fan of, but I think overall this is a really solid collection. And I also appreciate that the colors feel like they work so perfectly for the holiday season, not just for this particular movie slash show. So I think they did a really good job of that. From what I've seen of Wicked, I feel like the colors match with that perfectly, but they also do feel like very classic holiday colors. So yeah, let's get into pricing and availability. I get my OPI polishes from Beyond Polish, which is a nail polish retailer. They do come in 15 milliliter bottles. Like I said, they have the special edition cap that says Wicked, and it's also a little bit smoother than the usual OPI cap. And these retail on the Beyond Polish website for $9.25 USD each. I do also have a discount code, so you can use the code Kelly to get 10% off your order there. And they do have a lot of other great brands as well, so I definitely recommend them. I will link them down in the description. You can check them out if you're interested. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think of this collection? Are you a Wicked fan, and do you think that these colors represent Wicked well? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Would you rather get back together with your ex or have to listen to only Christmas music songs for an entire year? I would very easily choose to listen to Christmas songs for an entire year. I'm not gonna lie, I actually do enjoy my music relatively seasonally, which is kind of a new development. I think that's happened in the last few years, but around each particular holiday, I like to have a certain vibe for it. So currently, I am just listening to my Halloween playlist nonstop, but I am very happy with the life that I have chosen for myself, and I was not happy with the life that I had before. I love my partner Ryan, so I would listen to Christmas music for 5 years if I could keep this life that I have with him. So yeah, if you want to answer the question, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.